everybody, my name is Olivia Lobalbo, and today I'm going to be trying to teach you guys how to set and use a Duke fox trap. This is the preferred fox trap that A.E.R.O uses to catch any injured, sick animals. We are not catching for nuisance reasons. We're just kind of going out. Mostly this started as to attempt to treat mangy foxes, but in the end it's been a lot of rescue work for anything injured or sick. So this is the Duke fox trap. Mainly used for foxes, occasionally used for raccoons. It does good for both. So let's get started. Videographer, could you please come over here and focus right here on these locking mechanism? This is actually a very interesting locking mechanism here. It's two rings that come up to the top. Then you open the trap, and if you see this little latch here, if you could focus on that really quick, you lift that up and they balance on each other. So it's just a gravity trap. The reason we like this trap is because it's coated. It makes a lot less noise when it goes off. It's also a bit lighter weight than some of them. There's a lot less gadgets to it and a lot less things that can actually hurt the animal. When this this door goes down, it hits, but there's a little bit of a gap here. So if a foot or a tail got stuck, it still gives the availability for them to get out of that. So let's assume we have this trapped and locked, and we're going to start with day one. So day one, we have the trap set. We're not going to bait it. We're just going to put it in the area that we see the animals the most, and we want to put a trail camera out, ideally. That way you're seeing which foxes are coming and then which animals are coming that we don't want to trap, like your neighbor's cat or healthy foxes or raccoons or anything like that. The best way to do that is by getting that camera there so you can see what time of day your fox is coming, and then you'll know when to bait the trap. We don't want to leave it open overnight. The reason for that is most desperate, sick foxes are going to come during the day or whenever there's food available and there's no competition. So let's assume 6 o'clock every day on that trail camera, you're seeing the same fox who's very sick come through this area. You're going to set it and we're going to bait it. Here's our first tool. You have a little bit of raw chicken, that's what we typically use. You're going to put it right here. We're not going to put it in the trap because foxes are really smart, and we don't want to put it inside an area where they're not going to go in. They're just going to be hesitant about this entire situation and they're going to move on. So the first day, they just have to go up to the trap to eat it. They eat it, they're comfortable, yay. Great. Next day, right here. Next day, right here. As long as they are eating the food, you can graduate that plate back. On the last couple of days when we're actually baiting this trap to catch them, we're going to put it all the way back here. And if you could videotape really quick this little hole here. This is big enough just to get your arm in. Here's the pedal and here's the flat area. So pedal, flat area. We want to take that piece of chicken now and we're going to put it here. Our hope is that he's now comfortable enough to come in the cage looking for the chicken, and he will step on this little pad. It's not too loud. It's not too scary. He's in the trap. Everybody's okay and happy. Now you're going to come out and you're going to see the fox. This is when we take this towel and we're going to cover him up. Just like this. Each one of these traps has a little tag on the top with the name and number of the rehabbers. I want you to pick up that, give us a call, and I'll go over next steps in just a minute. Okay, so at this point, we're assuming that we have a fox in this cage. Assume that my dog isn't in the video. Go Chunk. He's just inspecting the cage. You should never let your pets near these cages. That's a big no-no when they're outside. Anytime an infected or diseased animal is in this cage, it has potential of spreading it to your pet if your pet is anywhere near this animal. Also, it's really going to stress out the fox itself. So when the rehabber shows up, this should still be covered. You should take a photo beforehand, send it over to the rehabber so they have time to talk to their vet and kind of get an idea for how this is going to go. So when we get here, we're going to take a look at the fox, and one of three things is going to happen. Either one, it's going to be a pretty healthy fox with a mild case of mange, totally okay. In that case, we're going to treat it for mange according to the veterinarian and how the diagnostics go. Sometimes it's mange, but it's not just mange. We have broken teeth, broken bones, really bad infections. In that case, the rehabber is just going to pick up this cage and take it with them because it has to go into the vet to be able to assess all those issues. And sometimes we're going to look at an animal and he looks so bad, and those cases sometimes we'll humanely euthanize. In those cases when they're just really, really bad, they usually don't even make it into the cage. So if you've caught him, that's usually a pretty good sign. So when the rehabber gets here, let's assume this is a perfectly healthy fox. We are going to do something that's a little bit scary looking. We're going to do a skin scrape on the fox. It's a diagnostic that has to be done for a veterinarian to be able to diagnose the kind of mange that we need to treat. So what we're gonna do is pick this up, and no foxes will be harmed in the creating of the skin scrape, and we're gonna very gently tip it on its side like this. At that point, the fox is gonna be at the bottom of the cage. He's gonna be very angry and scared. So we're gonna be very quiet, and we're gonna open up this end, and we're gonna have a big comforter with us. And we take the comforter and just smush it down until the fox is smushed but not hurt. We just need him to have his head over there so that we can take a blade and do a little skin scrape. The skin scrape does not hurt them. It's not gonna cause any permanent damage. We're literally taking a couple layers of skin, putting it on a slide for the microscope so we can actually see the mite that causes mange. If we see that mite, that's the easiest thing in the world. We're gonna tip this right back up. He's gonna go back to being very comfortable in here. And we're gonna take the medication that the vet gives us, and we're gonna put it right in here, close it, cover it up, and give him time. When he's ready and he's eaten it, you're gonna release the fox back onto your property where he came from. Very important, we may not relocate these animals. Last thing we're gonna talk about, again, is if you catch your neighbor's cat or a raccoon or something like that. We don't wanna do that, but if we do, here's what we're gonna do. You guys are gonna grab your handy dandy gloves, because any animal in here could have viruses, they could have intestinal parasites, they could have all kinds of things. So you're gonna put gloves on, and you're gonna cover the back half of the carrier again with this blanket so that the animal retreats to the covered dark area. He doesn't wanna be out in the open, so he's gonna retreat back. Usually if you're up here, they'll go back there. If he starts darting at you, give him time. Cover him up, let him go. You know, once he's tired, you come back up and do this again. Very easy. You're gonna lift these bars, you're gonna hold this, and you're gonna open it up and step back. And when you do that, they're usually gonna take right off. If they don't, pull up the back end of the blanket to where they're no longer covered in the back of the trap, and just pat on the back of the trap. There have been very rare occasions with cats that I've had to like tip it up and shake it a little bit, because cats just don't want to budge. Any other animal's gonna shoot out and be gone. I've never had one turn around and like want to fight me or anything, but for those reasons, you don't want to be down on the ground and open it. You want to be able to easily be on your feet and be able to get out of the way. With that said, I can hear my poor puppy crying, she's not in the video. I think we've gone over all the details. If you have any more questions, feel free to reach out, and thanks for listening.